Y'all, I'm officially 40. I've had some big birthday milestones, obviously, up to this point. And it's kind of like Molly Ringwald in 16 Candles, you know, when she turned 16 and she's like, I thought I'd feel different. I thought I'd wake up and I'd feel different. And I just don't. That's actually not true. When you turn 40, you do. You feel different. There's like a weight that comes off of your shoulders. Many of you told me this. Many of you said, just wait till you turn 40. You're going to love it. And I got to tell you, it's the bee's knees. So if you're anywhere close to turning 40, get ready. It's going to be awesome. If you're far away, don't worry. It's okay. You'll get there eventually. These are 7 things that now that I'm 40, I just quit. I'm done. I don't want to do them anymore. And I quite frankly don't think that you should either. Even if you're not 40, don't wait until you turn 40 to quit these things. I think these are all things that you should also quit doing right now. The first thing I'm quitting is using ADHD as an excuse, being an adult with ADHD as an excuse for some of my less pleasant attributes, some ways that I do things. I won't speak for anybody else, but when your brain is a little different, or as Emily says, spicy, when you're a little spicy brained, sometimes it can be easy to allow that to become an excuse for, well, that's just how I am. And while there's absolutely areas in which like you literally just cannot control it, that's nothing that you can personally change or control, there are things that I can control. And so for me, it's about quitting allowing ADHD to be an excuse for things. And speaking of quitting, one of the things that having adult ADHD makes you really good at is what I would call being a remarkable quitter. You are remarkably good at quitting things. You are remarkably good at starting things, but you are remarkably good at getting bored and then just quitting. And for me, I want to stop doing that. I don't like it. I don't like letting people down. I don't like feeling like I am kind of all over the place all the time. Now, it's a double-edged sword though, because while you're a remarkable quitter, often when you have ADHD, you're also what I would call a truffle pig, okay? Hear me out before you're like, how dare you call me a pig? A truffle pig meaning that, you ever seen a truffle pig like nose down, they sniff out the truffles? I mean, you're on it, okay? That's basically what I mean, is like nose to the ground, you're on it. And that's what happens with ADHD brain when you are interested in something. You are on it, you're in it, you are highly effective, you are focused. I mean, you almost just like are unstoppable until you decide to stop yourself, and then you become a remarkable quitter. And I would like to lean more into the truffle pig and less into the remarkable quitter. And so I've been like trying to figure out, how can I bridge that gap? How can I help myself to stay interested in things that I start? Where can I pull out the pieces of interest in things so that I don't just lose interest and quit? It sounds kind of weird to say I'd like to quit quitting, but it's true, right? I'm telling you all these things I'm quitting, but then I'm telling you I also don't want to quit. Listen, life is a juxtaposition. It's a paradox. Just, it is what it is. You get what I'm saying. I know you know what I mean. Number 2 is to quit thinking that I can be my own accountability person. I definitely consider myself to be a very highly motivated person. If you've been around my channels or anything like that for many years now, you know that like when I am interested in something, when I want something, I'm very motivated. But the problem is that I'm really good at motivating myself to start something. I am not good at the accountability, like holding myself accountable to things that I start. The best example of that would be that back in January, I told you guys that I really wanted to start working out. I wanted to focus on strength, that I didn't want to enter my 40s feeling weak and with back pain and feeling like I don't have good range of motion. Like I don't want to enter the second half of my life, like struggling with my physical health and just kind of like hobbling it along. I didn't want to do that. And months went by and all my best laid plans, nothing really happened. I wasn't making any forward progress on any kind of consistency with working out, with strength training or anything. And then I found Train Well. And let me tell you, you guys, I know people say like, it's changed my life and it's all very hyperbolic. I'm not being hyperbolic. Train Well is basically like the best of both worlds. So they kind of combined the personalization of having a personal trainer, but also the technology of being able to do things on your phone, do things remotely, do things from home or a gym if you want to. So I had a call, like an onboarding call with my personal trainer. Her name is Chris. She's amazing. Okay. I love her. I told her everything. Like, here's my life. I have 8 kids. I live on a farm. It's nuts around here. I feel like it's feast or famine with physical fitness. Either I am working my butt off outside on projects or whatever, or I'm inside, I'm sitting, I'm doing schoolwork, I'm sitting at my computer, and I'm not moving enough. I feel like there's just no consistency, and I want to focus on strength. And she was like, okay. She made me a personalized workout plan that I told her, I said, all I can commit to is 5 days a week for like 30 minutes. That's it. And she was like, great, I can do that. So she made me a personalized workout plan, and it's so awesome. I can use my Apple Watch. I connect it through my Apple Watch. You don't have to have an Apple Watch. You can just use your phone as well. So she has created personalized workouts for me. I connect it with my phone, and the best part is that like her voice comes on, walks me through it, and if I'm going too high in a movement or too low or too wide, her voice will come on and tell me that. Because of the watch, they can kind of feel like where you're moving your body. So she'll tell you like you're going too high at the top of that movement. So it's really like having a personal trainer right there, but I don't have to get in my car and drive anywhere. I can use my garage and the gym equipment we have in the garage. And she totally like asked me, what equipment do you have, so that she could make my plan within the confines of like, what do I have to work with, which is awesome. So you don't have to like rush out and buy a bunch of equipment or go get a gym membership. If you have one, they make flexible plans so that you can use the gym you have. It's great when you travel. She'll change up the plan. If I'm like, I'm going to be in a hotel gym or I'm not going to have access to a gym, she'll change up the plan for me for those days that I'm going to be gone so that I can still get in my workout. The accountability has been key for me. For over a month now, I have consistently worked out, which is unheard of for me. I feel stronger already. I'm already increasing my weights. I'm feeling strength come back in places that I felt very, very weak before. Biggest change is the accountability. I did not know that I needed that as badly as I did. It's the thing that like holds my feet to the fire if I am tempted to skip a workout. I think about the fact that she's going to see that. She's going to see that I didn't do my workout today. She's cheering me on. She can send me messages. I can send her messages. We can chat back and forth. I feel like this is something that all women, regardless of what age, would be such a benefit to your health and to your life, but especially for my women that are over 40 and thinking that you don't want to go to the bro gym, you don't want to go do all of that. You don't have to. I really think you're going to love it as much as I have. I do have a link for you down in the description box where you can try TrainWell. They're formerly called Copilot, but you can use my link down below and try them and get 14 days for free of a personalized workout plan with a trainer. You can try it for 14 days for free if you use my link. I know that this is a sponsorship, and so people automatically assume that you're just blowing smoke up their booties. I have used it consistently for over a month now. It's something that I will continue to use because it has changed my ability to stay accountable and actually work out. Consistency is the key to almost everything in life, including working out. And for me, this has been such change, considering 6 months ago, I was all in and I did basically nothing. Like I said, motivation, very little accountability for myself. This has given me the ability to stay accountable and actually stick to something which feels really good. And then I feel really proud of myself because I've actually done the thing I said I was going to do. So if you too could benefit from the accountability, the personalized workouts, definitely give it a try. Like I said, the link is down below in the description box. Number 3 is that I quit focusing so much on habits. I have tried to shift more to rituals. Now, that sounds kind of woo-woo, and you're probably like, what the heck are you talking about? Are we like going to church eating a live chicken? No, not those kind of rituals. Habits are just the things that we need to be doing consistently every day, the habits that we create for ourselves. Y'all know what habits are. It's like such a hot topic. People love to talk about habits. I love to talk about habits, but it can get a little dry and a little boring. And I, for one, especially like I said, as being 40 now, am really seeing more and more the value of beauty in my day, extra added beauty in my life, just for the sake of it, okay? There are a lot of people who want to poo-poo that. There are a lot of people who will die on the hill of practicality. Everything has to just be practical all the time. Anything else is just fluff and a waste. Good. If that's how they want to live their life, go right on ahead. But architecture is one of my favorite examples of this. There's like buildings that are just for the purpose of practicality and how cheap can we make this building? What's, the best cost to do this and just make the building function, versus people who design buildings and stuff for their beauty. They design structures. Go all over the world and look at some of the oldest structures. It took them decades sometimes to build these structures, and they could have made them much more simple than they did. But they did not. They made them complex and beautiful because they saw value in that. And so do I. I would rather go the next 40 years or my last 40 years or however many more I have left, adding in some rituals, some beauty into my day. So what do I mean by this? I mean taking the habits that I already have created, the things that I need to do, even the mundane, and finding ways to infuse it with meaning, to infuse it with a little bit of magic, something a little bit special. Whether that is my evening routine is like brushing my teeth, washing my face, climbing into bed. Maybe I take the extra 2 seconds to spritz my pillows with a pillow mist before I get into bed. Okay, maybe I take an extra few minutes to do an extra step of skincare. Maybe I take out my pretty teacup instead of my regular old grungy looking coffee mug for my afternoon cup of tea or cup of coffee, or instead of the practicality of a regular old mug or a travel mug or something like that. It seems like little things, taking the time to get dressed each day and to add in fun elements to something that I'm wearing, a hat, a scarf, some red lipstick, just taking the time to make things a little bit more beautiful each day, to give them a little bit more meaning, a little bit more time, a little bit more of my thought and a little bit of heart injected into them. I feel like this can be applied in all areas of our lives, whether it's with our kids, with homeschooling, with creating our garden, with work, with anything that we're doing. We can find ways to add a little extra bit of beauty and meaning to it. And that is something that I would like to do, is to quit making habits seem like they have to just be the most effective, productive thing possible, and leaving no space at all for magic, for beauty, for adding some ritualistic type nature to it that makes it feel extra special for no reason at all other than that I'm alive today and I'm grateful for it. And so I want to make this as beautiful as possible. Number 4 is to quit wanting to be liked by everybody. I've been a people pleaser my entire life, and I have struggled back and forth. If you've read my book, my memoir that I wrote, then you know more about this, about me. But it's been very hard for me sometimes to accept that even if I feel like I'm being nice and I'm not criticizing people, I'm just kind of living my own life, that there's going to be people that just don't like you for whatever reason. There's actually a great book, I'll link it in the description box, called The Courage to Be Disliked. And it's interesting, you don't think of that as like a courageous thing, but it is. At least if you're a people pleaser, it can be very hard to accept that people don't like you. And sometimes as people pleasers, we then go the other way. We go out of our way to try to make these people like us. And we end up almost like groveling at their feet, like me, please. I promise I'm a nice person. You'd like me if you just got to know me. And it's such a waste of time. It's such a waste of time. There are plenty of people that other people like that I don't. When I kind of look at it like that, when I'm like, look, I have my reasons for why I don't like this person. And maybe somebody feels that way about me. At the end of the day, me not liking that person has no bearing and should have no bearing on their life. Them not liking me should have no bearing and has no bearing on my life. But for many of us, we can let it eat away at our brains all day, or affect how we show up, how we present, how we interact with people. It's a fear of people not liking us. And then there's this overcompensation for but if you just got to know me, you'd like me. And at the end of the day, I've just had to kind of let that go. And look, some people are just not going to like me. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I know that about myself, but I still always wanted people to like me. I thought that if they got to know me, that there's something about me that they would end up liking, but maybe not. And I don't know. I mean, so much of this applies to the online space. And, I've been sharing videos online for 10 years. This year has been 10 years. I cannot believe that. And I've experienced a lot of both extreme kindness, but also extreme unkindness. And it's helped me to grow a thicker skin for sure, but it's also made me edit myself, mute myself, try to be very careful that I don't upset anybody, that I am just kind of towing this line, because I don't set out to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't set out to create content that upsets people or anything like that. But by nature of going just a hair deeper than surface level, you run the risk of upsetting somebody. And I am so tired of trying to avoid that at all costs. So that is one of the things that I have quit and am quitting, is worrying about what other people think about me, whether they like me or not, whether they see the heart behind what I'm saying or sharing or talking about or not. It doesn't matter. I know it. My family knows it. My kids know it. My husband knows it. My parents know it. My sisters know it. My friends know it. That's it. Like, that's it. That's all that I need. I don't need the approval of everyone else. I do have a really amazing community here that I am incredibly grateful for. And for those of you that are my people, I know you get frustrated when I'm not being like my genuine self, or you can tell that I'm watering myself down. I know that that's frustrating. Because you've seen me for so many years that you feel like you know me really well. These whole like parasocial relationships are very bizarre at times, but I also want to honor that relationship that we've built and give you as much of me as feels reasonable. As I always say, it's about being like sharing personal things, but not like super intimate things. So anyways, that's one of the things that I'm quitting, and I definitely think that you should too. Number 5 is that I quit listening to the gatekeepers. Boy, the gatekeepers, they come out in droves. Whenever you try to enter a space or a place that is new to you, I mean, everything is gate kept these days. And just as an example, like when we moved and we bought our property and we started getting chickens and like the homesteading, hobby farming, gardening, every sphere is gate kept, whether it's organization, decluttering, minimalism, fashion, beauty, what, like anything of the myriad of things that I talk about, all of it is gate kept, and people will be very quick to make you feel like you do not belong. Again, this is like what I do for a living, but even, you know, somebody who's just sharing online for funsies or whatever, you can start talking about something. Maybe you start working out, maybe you start running, and then the runners come out, or the, you know, the fitness folks come out, and everyone's got a reason why you're not the right fit, you don't belong, and people can just gatekeep things and make you feel like you must follow their exact rule book, their exact pattern for this. Otherwise, you're not welcome here. You know, like the Forrest Gump, like, you can't sit here. That's what it feels like. Like, you can't garden here. You can't cook here. You can't bake here. It's so obnoxious and rude and annoying because nobody owns any of these things. And guess what? Despite what the algorithms of all of these social media sites, I don't care if it's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, they are all interest-based because that is what is easiest for the algorithm. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It matters that you find that one trick that your pony can do and you ride it till that pony passes out and dies. Like, that is what the algorithm wants from you. It's why all the content that you see is so very, you'll notice you watch one thing and then that is what you get. That is all that you see. That's how the algorithms can function the best. So all of your timelines, everything that you're seeing is all very interest-based, not really community-driven. So they don't want to see all the facets of your personality. They want to see the one thing that people like about you, and that is it. It's a bad business move, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want this as a job if it means that I have to ride that dime store pony till it's dead. I don't want to, because I know that I would be miserable. That would come through in my content. I have no interest in doing that. I never have. So my thought process on that is just simply, I'm quitting listening to the gatekeepers. I think that you should too, wherever you find them in your life. Number 6 is to live in the gain, not the gap. Talked about this for a long time, but I want to quit living in the gap. It is very hard sometimes mentally. What that means, basically, if you've never heard, there's a great book called The Gain and the Gap. I'll link that as well if you want to read it. It's fantastic. But boiling it down to its most simplistic idea is simply focusing on the gap from where we are to where we want to be, instead of the gain of where we came from to where we are now. This is something that people do all the time in all spheres of life, whether it's mothering, whether it's being a wife, a homemaker, whether it's your job, whether it's fitness stuff that you're doing. You focus on where you want to go, which all you see there is the gap between where that you are now and where you want to be, versus looking at where you were and how far you've come and allowing yourself to be proud of yourself, to see that as an accomplishment and feel proud. We end up feeling like we still have so far to go, and we don't ever give ourselves time to like actually just sort of relish in our achievements, our accomplishments, how far we've come. I have struggled with this for many, many years, and I really, really want to quit living in the gap. I really do. So it's something that I'm continually striving for. I'm not perfect. I don't think anybody is in this area, but it's something that I'm continually focusing on. And number 7 nicely kind of rounds out all of this is that I quit following the rules. It sounds kind of silly, but everything from less serious things with far less like actual impact to even more, right? So like fashion rules. I love to say that the only fashion rule is that you love it. I don't care what the style experts say or whatever. I try to focus on things that I love, things that I feel good in. And if that's you and somebody tells you that's so like elder millennial of you should part your hair in the middle, not on the side. Bite me. I'll part my hair wherever I want. Thank you very much. It's so hard to sit there and say that any one like rule, whether it's a style rule or whatever, perfectly applies to everybody. There's some people who look terrible with a middle part. So to say that like it's not in, what a dumb thing, right? What a dumb thing. I find all of these things very funny, but it can be tempting when we get to more serious things, right? We as human beings just have this desire for sameness. We have this very tribal mentality where if we've done something one way, that's how we think everybody else should do it, whether it's going to college or homeschooling your kids or sending them to public school or where you live, or just there's so many things that people will sort of judge you for. And it's really so much more about them than it is about you. And so for me, one of the things that I really want to quit, that I've been sort of quiet quitting for years, but I want to loudly quit, is obeying other people's rules for what I have to do, how I should live, how I should dress, how I should talk, all of that. Like I'm over it, right? Like I'm done. I really do think that there's this feeling that just washes over you where you really realize how short and how precious life is. It's not just turning 40, but it's that my oldest turns 18 in January. My youngest is turning 5, and it has been a blink. The last 4 or 5 years especially have been a blink, a blur and a blink. And in no time at all, some of my older kids are going to be, moving on with their lives. And we're not going to have this like little family unit that's all together all the time. Why waste any more time worrying about how other people think I should be doing things, or how they think my kids should be doing things, or what they think in general, right? At all. It doesn't matter. I just more than ever have realized how short life is, how short my time with my kids really is. And I don't want to have those regrets. As I like to remind you, we all must choose our regrets. And those are regrets I don't choose, I don't want to have. I hope that you found some things helpful in this video. I want to remind you to please check out Trainwell. I know that you are going to love them as much as I do. There'll be a link down below in the description box where you can check out Trainwell. They're formerly called Copilot, if you've heard of that, but you can get 14 days for free with a personal trainer, a personalized fitness plan. You are going to love it, especially for those of you who need accountability like I do. You're really going to love it. So definitely check that out. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I hope that if I've got any others turning 40 or any other big birthdays coming up, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to wish you happy birthday, and I will see y'all again very soon.